morning and welcome to the farm today, guys. We have a different kind of video for you guys today. We bought an incubator off eBay and today we're gonna unbox and set it up, and then over the next few days we're gonna collect some fresh eggs from the girls. We're gonna get them in the incubator and we're gonna hopefully hatch out some baby chicks. We're gonna show you guys right from unboxing until hatch day on this video, so make sure you stick around to the end to see how many chicks we actually get. Now there are a lot of different kinds of incubators you can buy, from super cheap ones like this to very expensive $1,000 commercial machines. Now we don't need a commercial size machine here on the farm. We just want to hatch out a few babies, you know, every year, every couple of years. So we started with a cheap incubator that we found on eBay just to see what our hatch rates are and see how hatching the chicks goes before we invest in a bigger machine. So let's take a look. I haven't seen this yet. We're gonna open it up and see what it looks like. The kids are very excited to be able to hatch out some chicks this year. They loved playing with the babies last year when they were super little, and I know they can't wait to get some more. It'll be a great way for us to expand the flock and replace some of the ones that we did lose over the winter. We did lose 3 girls between last summer and over the winter, so it will be nice to be able to up our numbers a bit. And if we do get any roosters, it will also add to our freezer, which is always a nice bonus. So this seems like it's packaged pretty well. Just gonna move this out of the way. Let's see here. Now this incubator does have an automatic turner, so we don't have to turn the eggs, and it has digital gauges showing the humidity and the temperature. Looks like it's packaged pretty well. Of course I have to open it upside down. Let's turn it over here. So this is the incubator that we got. You can see it has an LED light for candling. This is your digital gauge for your temperature, your settings. And it's just a basic little incubator. I think they said it holds 24 chicken eggs, 12 duck eggs, and something like 36 quail eggs. We don't have any quail here on the farm, but we definitely do have the chickens, and one day I would like to get some ducks as well. So it comes with, these are your little trays that your eggs sit on for the turning. The instructions, those will be good. I'm gonna have to look and see how to put this all together. Why don't I read the instructions and then we'll get it put together, and I'll show you guys once it's ready to go. So I've read through the instructions. They're a little bit hard to understand as this incubator did come from China, so it is converted from Chinese to English, but I think I got the gist of it. This is the bottom tray where your water goes in. This is your tray that your egg turner sits on, and this is where the chicks will hatch once you remove the egg turner. This is the actual turner where your eggs sit. Now it comes with these little dividers that you can put in different places depending on what size your eggs are and what kind of eggs you're hatching. This one's set up for 12 chicken eggs. Our eggs are pretty big, so that's all we're going to be able to fit in this incubator. If you want to hatch more than 12, they do sell other sizes. You might want to go a bigger size up. But you could probably hatch in this 24 quail eggs if you wanted to do that. I'm going to set the turning tray inside of the incubator. I'm going to add some water to the bottom. We'll put the top on and plug it in, and we're going to let it sit for 24 to 48 hours so it can come up to temperature. Now the temperatures vary depending on where you live, what your temperatures are daily, and what your humidity is. So make sure you check for your local area of what you need to set the temperature at. Ours is going to be set at 38.5 degrees Celsius for our area, and I'm going to make sure that it doesn't drop too low under that because you don't want your chicks to dry out. I'm going to set this on. I haven't plugged it in yet. It said it can take a few hours for it to come up to temperature initially. Sounds pretty quiet. turn it here, you can see the front. It's got its digital display. These are your buttons to set your temperature. This is your LED light. And in the inside, this right here is what turns your egg. So you want to make sure that it lines up with this little slot on your tray so that your eggs can rotate. Make sure the lid's on there properly. I'm going to get a cup of water. It says for the first week, you just want to fill the middle channel. And then after that, you'll fill the 2 outside channels. And for actual hatch time, you're going to fill the entire bottom tray. And that should give the eggs enough humidity for them to hatch. So I'm just going to take the lid off. And I'm going to take the trays out. I'm just going to fill up the middle tray with water. There we go. Put those back down. Make sure you line up your egg turner with the slot. Otherwise your eggs won't turn. We're going to let this sit on the counter for 48 hours and make sure that it's coming up to temperature and that it's rotating properly. Then we'll be able to load it up with our eggs and hopefully hatch out some chicks in 21 days. Now we're going to head out to the chicken coop and collect today's eggs. We're going to store them pointy side down in this container on the counter for 24 hours before we put them into our incubator to get them hatching. Let's have a look and see how many eggs we've been getting from the girls. Normally we get about 5 to 6 a day from them, but it's been rainy and cold, so there might be a little bit less. There's a chicken in there. What do we got here? 1. And you can see our eggs come out really clean. The girls don't generally get their nesting boxes dirty, so the eggs are usually pretty clean. I think I see 5 in here already. We may get 1 more today, which would be good. That'll give us 6 today and hopefully 6 tomorrow, and that'll be perfect 12 to add into the incubator. There's half of our eggs right there. We're going to store these in the house, pointy side down. And what that does is it lets the air bubble inside the eggs settle to the top so that it's all in one space and not just floating around in the eggs. We'll take these in the house and we'll set them on the counter near the incubator and wait until tomorrow and see how many we get then. So our eggs have been sitting on the counter for 24 hours now. Our incubator's up to temperature. We're going to take off the lid, we're going to put our eggs in it, and then we're going to let them sit for 8 days before we candle them to see if they have any growth. You want to be quick when you do this because you don't want your incubator to drop too much of its temperature. You want to make sure that the eggs that you put in your incubator are clean and dry. Don't use any eggs that you've washed, and don't use any that are covered in poop. Our girls are really clean. Our eggs generally come out of the coop fairly clean and don't need to be washed. So they still have their protective bloom coating on them. We're going to put them into our incubator. I'm going to rotate this one. Make sure again that your little pin lines up with your tray. We're going to set this on the counter. We're going to let it sit for 8 days and then we'll come back and we can use the little LED candle light that's on the incubator itself to see if any of our eggs have any growth. We're going to leave this right here. It's nice and quiet. You shouldn't even notice that it's running. The day has come to put our eggs into lockdown. Now for those that have never hatched eggs or don't have chickens, lockdown is where you remove the turner from your egg incubator, you lower the temperature a little bit, and you up your humidity in preparation for hatch day. Now these eggs are set to hatch in just 2 days, and we're hoping at least some of them hatch. Now normally we would have candled around day 6 and then again around maybe day 12, But we decided to just let these ones go, see what happens, and see what hatched out. So I'm gonna go ahead and lower the temperature now. And then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take out the egg turner very gently. Maybe. You want to try and be as quick as possible. That's my incubator telling me the temperature's off. I'm going to put it back on top here. There we go. This is going to now sit undisturbed until the chicks hatch. And we don't take them out until they are fluffy and dry, and then we'll put them into our brooder box that we have all prepared for them. But for now, they are going to hang out in here, and hopefully in a couple of days, we're going to start to see some signs of hatching. Well, yesterday was day 21 for our incubated eggs, and we had a couple of eggs start to pip. Overnight, one chick has hatched out so far, and there's a couple others that are also starting. We're going to have a look at him. He's all dry and fluffy now. This is our first hatched chick, and his name is Corbin, after our son, because it was his birthday yesterday, and I told him that the first chick that hatched on his birthday we would name Corbin. So this is Corbin the Chicken, and whether he's a male or a female, he'll be staying here with us forever because his name is Corbin. We are getting him some buddies today that are going to join him, as well as when his other brothers and sisters hatch out. But this is the first chick hatched on our farm, and we're super excited about it. Now we just have to wait for the others to hatch out. You guys saw our baby chick that hatched a few hours earlier. Well, now we have 2 more eggs that are well on their way to hatching, and it's very exciting sitting here watching. Every little peep we hear from inside the incubator and every little bit of shell that gets cracked is very exciting to watch. Hopefully in the next couple hours we're gonna have 2 more baby chicks hatched out. Have a look. Hopefully in the next couple hours, that little chick's gonna make his debut. Our chick hatching journey started just about a month ago with this incubator that we bought on eBay. Now, what we had was 4 chicks hatch out. 2 of them are perfectly fine, they're doing great. You can probably hear them in the background chirping. 2 of them, once they hatched, didn't make it. They were very tiny. They just never dried. I tried drying them with the blow dryer, giving them some vitamin water, just didn't help, unfortunately. The rest of the eggs in here didn't hatch. Now I'm going to show you what we have left. Let me just turn that fan off. Now I candled all these eggs the other day. These 3 eggs did not develop at all. So they either weren't fertile or they got moved around too much. They just didn't develop. So we'll take those out of the equation. So we had 9 actual eggs that developed. 4 hatched. These 5 didn't. Now this one pipped, as you can see right here, but unfortunately didn't complete the hatch process, and it did pass away in the shell. These ones here all also had developed chicks in them, and for whatever reason just did not hatch. What we're gonna do is we're gonna run it again. I read some stuff online about incubators and venting and things like that, and the reason these ones didn't hatch could have been our fault. We could have opened it too many times, let out too much air when we were taking the other chicks out. For whatever reason, they didn't hatch. So our success rate was very low on our first hatch, but we're gonna try again and see if we can't do better with this little incubator that we bought. I'm gonna show you the 2 chicks that did hatch though, so you can see how well they're doing. These are the first 2 chicks that we hatched on the farm. These are eggs that were laid by our girls here. So these are homegrown chickens all the way. This one hatched first, and he hatched out on our son's birthday, so his name is Corbin the Chicken, after our son. And this one hatched the next day, and our daughters named this one Fluffy because she's super, super fluffy. We're hoping they both grow up to be hens, but regardless, they'll probably both stay here forever on the farm as they are our first chickens. They're both happy, healthy, chirpy little birds, and they've been running around like crazy in their brooder box, and they're getting bigger every day. This one here is easily doubled in size in just a few days already. Some of the things that we liked and didn't like about this incubator are that the fan, for one, is really quiet. It's been on our counter here in the kitchen, and you hardly hear it. It worked perfect. We had no trouble with the temperatures as far as I can tell. It seemed very accurate. The humidity seemed good. The only thing that I really disliked the most was adding water. In order to add water, I had to very carefully lift this side of the incubator, pour in water, and then close it while realigning the egg turner with the tray. See, there's a little slot here that this pin has to go into, and that's actually what turns your eggs. That's a bit of a pain in the butt, I'm not gonna lie. The other thing about adding the water is once your water's in, you can't tell what the water level is. You're probably wondering why the eggs are all blue. The reason is I added blue food coloring to the water so that I could see the water levels without having to take the whole incubator apart and disturb the eggs. One of the things that is kind of iffy is the tray in the bottom has an overflow. So if you fill it up too much, it does run out, but it tends to run all over your counter. And one thing, unfortunately, in our house, our counters, because our house is older, they're not completely level. So the incubator sat on a little bit of a tilt, and even though it wasn't over full, it would still run all over the counter. So what I ended up having to do was put a tiny little piece of Lego underneath the incubator to keep it level. And you can see, just by moving it, it flowed out water all over the counter. We're gonna get everything cleaned up. We're gonna put new eggs. I have eggs here that we've been collecting for the last couple of days. We're gonna put them in the incubator. We're gonna start it over again and see if we have a better hatch rate the second time around. With all the issues we had with this incubator and hatching out chicks, I can only give this incubator a 4 out of 10. Now, keep in mind that this is a very cheap knockoff incubator from eBay. It's not a brand name incubator by any means. It doesn't have any of the bells and whistles as some of the other incubators have. So maybe for this model, that's a good hatch rate. We're gonna try again. Maybe with the next batch, we'll get better results and we'll be able to give it a better rating. But for now, a 4 out of 10 for this incubator. We definitely will be upgrading to a bigger incubator. It's just unfortunately with everything going on in the world, the ones that we wanted to get were not in stock anywhere. We tried so many places to get them and just couldn't find the one that we wanted. But as soon as it's in stock, we're going to be upgrading, so next year we can definitely hatch out a lot more eggs. For now, I'm going to get all these eggs taken care of. I'm going to clean this up. We're going to start it again, and we'll show you guys the next hatch to see if we have better results. This is 12 new eggs going into the incubator. It's got water. I decided to set it in a pan this time so that it doesn't overflow all over the counter. We're going to put the fan on. You can hear how quiet it is running. You can barely hear it. So it's not too bad on the counter. Hopefully these eggs will have a better hatch. Then the last ones. Thanks for hanging out with us today, guys, as we showed you what our incubator from eBay hatched out. Hopefully this one has a better hatch rate. We'll show you that in the next video. As always, thanks for watching.